In the dark corners of Russian history, behind palace walls and inside frozen prison camps, women faced punishments so brutal that most historians refuse to describe them in detail. From medieval czars to secret police dungeons, Russia perfected the art of cruelty. Today we uncover 20 real torture devices that were specifically used on women. Some of these will make your stomach turn. Stay till the end. Number 1 is unbelievable. Let's start with number 20, the shame flute. A heavy iron device shaped like a flute, but nobody played music with it. Guards locked it around a woman's neck and fingers. She had to walk through town wearing it. Everyone stared. Everyone laughed. Children threw things. In 17th century Russia, this was common punishment for women who spoke against the church or local rulers. The shame flute weighed around 5 to 8 pounds. Women wore it for hours, sometimes days. Their fingers went numb. Their necks bled from the rough iron edges. The worst part was not the metal cutting into her skin. It was the look in people's eyes. People she grew up with, people she trusted, all of them watching her suffer and doing nothing. It was not about physical pain alone. It was about destroying her dignity in front of everyone she knew. And it worked every single time. Here comes number 19, the scold's bridle. Russia borrowed this from Europe, but made it worse. The scold's bridle was an iron cage locked over a woman's head. Inside, a metal piece pressed down on her tongue. She could not talk. She could not scream. She could barely swallow. Russian versions from the 1600s had sharp spikes on the tongue plate. If a woman tried to move her tongue, the spikes would cut deep into the flesh. Historical records from the Novgorod region show that women accused of gossip or witchcraft wore this device for up to 3 days straight. Many lost the ability to speak permanently. Let's move to number 18, the wooden horse. This one sounds simple. It was anything but. A sharp triangular wooden beam sat on tall legs. The woman was forced to sit on the pointed edge with her full body weight pressing down. Guards sometimes tied heavy stones to her feet to increase the pressure. In Tsarist Russia, this device appeared in military prisons and political detention centers. Documents from the 18th century describe sessions lasting 6 to 12 hours. The physical damage was severe and permanent. Peter the Great's secret police, the Preobrazhensky Prikaz, reportedly used this on women suspected of treason against the crown. Next one is number 17. The Iron Maiden of Moscow. Most people think the Iron Maiden was only a German thing. Wrong. Russian blacksmiths built their own versions during the reign of Ivan the Terrible in the 1500s. The Moscow version was slightly different. It was narrower. The spikes inside were longer and positioned to avoid vital organs. The goal was not to kill quickly. The goal was maximum pain over maximum time. Women accused of poisoning their husbands or practicing dark magic were placed inside. Historical accounts suggest some women survived up to 2 days inside the device before succumbing to blood loss and infection. Let's move to number 16, the strappado. Russian interrogators loved this method. They tied a woman's hands behind her back. Then they hoisted her up by the wrists using a rope and pulley system. The shoulders dislocated almost immediately. The pain was beyond description. What made the Russian version unique was the addition of weights. They attached iron blocks to the woman's ankles. In the dungeons beneath the Kremlin, this technique was used extensively during the 16th and 17th centuries. Records from the time of troubles, around 1598 to 1613, mention hundreds of women subjected to this method during political purges. Here comes number 15, Siberian ice torture. Only Russia could turn winter itself into a weapon. Guards stripped women naked and threw them outside in the Siberian cold. Temperatures dropped to -40 degrees. But here is the truly cruel part. They poured water over the women repeatedly. Layer after layer of ice formed on their skin. The body went into shock within minutes. The skin turned blue, then white, then stopped feeling anything at all. During the Gulag era of the 1930s and 1940s,
multiple survivor testimonies describe this exact practice. According to Gulag historians, an estimated 18 million people passed through the Soviet camp system. Women made up roughly 10%. Many faced this specific punishment for breaking camp rules. Former prisoners who wrote memoirs after their release described watching other women being dragged outside at night. Some never came back. The ones who did come back were never the same. Frostbite claimed fingers, toes, ears. The cold changed them inside, too. One survivor described the sound of water freezing on skin as something she heard in her nightmares for the rest of her life. Let's move to number 14, the rack. The Russian rack worked like racks everywhere else. Arms and legs were tied to opposite ends. Then the device slowly stretched the body apart. Joints popped, ligaments tore. But Russian interrogators added something extra. They placed hot coals beneath the rack. While the body stretched, the back burned. During the Oprichnina period, under Ivan the Terrible, from 1565 to 1572, the rack was standard equipment in every interrogation chamber. Ivan's secret police targeted entire families. Women were racked alongside their husbands and children to extract confessions about supposed conspiracies. Next one is number 13, branding irons. In 18th century Russia, branding was legal punishment. Special irons heated in fire were pressed against a woman's face, forehead, or cheeks. The mark was permanent. Everyone who saw her face knew she was a criminal. Under Empress Elizabeth in the 1740s, branding replaced the death penalty for many crimes. Sounds merciful, right? But the branded women became social outcasts. They could not find work. They could not marry. They lived the rest of their lives in shame. Historical records show that thousands of women were branded during this period for crimes as minor as petty theft. Let's move to number 12, the knout. The knout was Russia's most famous whip, but calling it a whip does not do justice to how terrible it was. The knout was made of rawhide strips braided together with wire woven through them. Each strike ripped skin from bone. The sound it made was sickening. A sharp crack followed by something worse. Under Russian law from the 1600s through the 1800s, women received the knout for crimes ranging from theft to adultery. A sentence of 20 lashes often proved fatal. Skilled executioners could kill with a single blow aimed at the spine. An estimated 40% of people who received more than 30 lashes died within the first week from infection and blood loss. Foreign visitors to Russia wrote detailed accounts of public knouting. They described crowds gathering to watch.
Some women screamed. Others went silent after the first few blows. The executioners were professionals. They trained for years. They knew exactly how deep each blow would cut, and they took pride in their precision. The knout was not officially abolished until 1845. That means for over 200 years, this was considered perfectly normal justice. Here comes number 11, tongue removal. In Tsarist Russia, cutting out a woman's tongue was considered appropriate punishment for blasphemy or speaking against the Tsar. This was not done with any medical precision. A blacksmith's tool or heated tongs grabbed the tongue and ripped or cut it out. Many women bled to death during the procedure. Those who survived could never speak again. During the reign of Alexis I in the mid-1600s, tongue removal was formalized as a legal punishment. Court records from this period document dozens of cases involving women who had publicly criticized church or state policies. Let's move to number 10, the pillory and public humiliation. Russia's pillory was different from the Western version. Women were locked into wooden frames in the town square, their heads and hands stuck through holes for everyone to see. But in Russia, the crowds were encouraged to participate. They threw rocks, rotten food, and worse.
Guards stood nearby but did nothing to protect the prisoner. In winter, guards poured cold water over the restrained woman and let it freeze on her body. Sessions lasted from sunrise to sunset. Some lasted multiple days. The woman could not sit, could not move, could not protect herself from anything. During the 1700s, Peter the Great used public humiliation as a political tool. Women connected to his enemies were paraded through Moscow in pillories. The psychological destruction was the real punishment. Many of these women took their own lives within weeks of their release. Their reputations were gone. Their families abandoned them out of fear. They had nothing left. Here comes number 9. Finger screws. Small, but devastating. Finger screws were metal devices that slowly